Michael Jackson's 3 children are growing up. After years of living under a limelight-fueled microscope, they're leading something like a normal life with their cousins at their grandmother's California estate. And for the first time since their father's death, they're talking to Oprah. NBC's Jeff Rawson has the details.
Prince Michael, hi.
The Jackson kids as we've never seen them before. Paris, Prince.
Hey, Blanket, hi.
And Blanket, relaxed and candid, speaking with Oprah.
I kind of felt like no one understand what a good father he was. Like, he was like, I'd say he was the best cook ever. He was just a normal dad, except for he was, I'd say, the best dad ever.
We used to wake up early and walk the beach.
More than a year after Michael's sudden death, they seem to be adjusting rather well, living with their grandmother Catherine, surrounded by their cousins. A far cry from life with Michael. The kids shielded from the public. Remember the infamous masks? Now Prince and Paris go to class out in the open with other kids at the Buckley School in L.A.
I guess I was just nervous.
About?
Everything. They just said, who's new, raise your hand. And then a lot of kids raised their hands.
And then you feel better. Didn't you feel better?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do kids react to who you are?
My friend, she didn't know who I was until we went on outdoor ed.
And then what happens? What happens when people discover who you are?
She didn't care.
Then there's 8-year-old Blanket.
So, Blanket, are you still homeschooled?
Yes.
He's still shy, but his older brother and sister were more than happy to talk about their hobbies and their futures.
Video games and sports.
Video games and sports.
Yeah.
Tell her what you want to do when you grow up.
What do you want to do?
Produce movies and direct.
I'd like to be an actress when I'm older.
Really? Good. Are you going to, like, study it, take it seriously?
Yeah. I sometimes do improvs.
Oh, do you? Where?
Well, I used to do it with my dad.
Away from the kids, the conversation also touched on the day Michael died.
The worst day of my life.
And reached back into Michael's troubled childhood, including accusations of physical abuse at the hands of his father, Joe.
You might as well admit it.
Yeah.
That's the way black people raise their children. He used a strap.
He used the strap.
Yes, he did use the strap.
I would have punished them by whipping them with a strap or something when they did something wrong. It would have kept them out of trouble.
And that was NBC's Jeff Rawson reporting. And as we go back to our company, Bernard and Sudipta, I have to tell you, I watched the whole thing. What struck you about it? Because they seem like pretty great kids to me. All that talk about, you know, living this weird life with Michael Jackson, they seem pretty well adjusted.
I agree, Chris. And, you know, we have been fascinated with the Jacksons for
Forever.
5 decades, and that's going to continue clearly with their children. But I think it does underscore the fact that Michael Jackson was probably right to keep them shielded from the public view, out of public sight during their particularly formative years, because they've now come out of that, and I think that they are interacting incredibly well, given their strange upbringing.
They said that allowed them then to go out without their dad and not be recognized. So that was sort of the idea behind that.
Yeah.
What's ahead for them, do you think, Sudipta?
I'm really impressed with the way that they're adjusting, and I think the fact that they're in this really great family environment where for the first time they're getting to interact with the extended family, which is something that most of us don't get to live in the day-to-day life. So I think being around other normal, quote, children, and to have the grandparents involved.
It is Hollywood, after all.
Yeah, as normal as you can get.
Yeah. Well, you know, there is something to be said for being in a place where a lot of folks have famous parents, so that's something else that, you know, maybe they're not the only ones who have famous parents. Sudipta, thank you very much for coming in. Bernard, it's good to see you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.